Hello, in this video we are going to learn how to draw curved lines or curved segments in Adobe Illustrator, and we're going to use curved anchor points to create these lines. So first I'm going to go to my Illustrator. I will go to File, Open, and I'm going to open my Simple Shapes artwork, which I have started working on. So you click on the Simple Shapes icon and then you click on Open, and then the file will open. In the previous video I showed you how to do a zigzag and a rectangle, and we practiced drawing straight lines using pen tool. So today we're going to be creating curved lines, but we're also going to be using pen tool as well. So first of all, I'm going to click and hold and then let go, and then click on the edge of the pen tool bar and the sub menu will tear off, and then I can just move it over. So today we're going to be using the pen tool again, and we have already looked at add anchor point and delete anchor point, and we use them to add and delete anchor points on straight line or zigzags that we drew using the corner points. So you can use them as well on curves, so we're going to look at that as well. So in order to draw a curve, I'm going to use the pen tool. Before I begin, I'm going to go to No Fill, and I'm going to use black stroke. And so now this is preset and it's ready to go. I have already turned on my grid, but if you don't have your grid visible, then you would go to View, Show Grid. So View, Show Grid displays the 1 by 1 inch grid, and then View, Hide Grid would turn off the grid. So this is 1 by 1 inch grid, and I'm going to use it so it's easier for me to visualize where to put anchor points. So first of all, I want to show you how you can edit your artboards, because I've noticed that some of the students did not set up the artboard properly in the previous assignment. So it's fine, you can still edit the artboard in case if it's incorrect size or incorrect orientation. So first I'm going to go to Window, Artboards, which is here. And then this is going to display my artboards palette. So first I'm going to show you how you can change the artboard size and orientation. So again, Window, Artboards will display the artboards panel or menu. And then if you double click on this icon here, which is a little artboard icon, then you're going to see the options show up. So here you can select landscape or portrait orientation. So if you accidentally selected portrait before, you can easily change it into portrait orientation by clicking on the portrait icon right now. So you can fix it. You can also change the paper size. So if by accident you chose tabloid, or if you chose legal, you can change it to letter size because it was supposed to be letter size, but some of you accidentally selected a wrong paper size and a wrong orientation. Then once you set it up and you enter the value that you want, then you click OK. Okay. One more thing that you can do from here is add one more artboard. So if you click on this icon here, you're going to get a new artboard added. So here now I have two artboards, so I can keep clicking on new artboard, and then it's going to keep giving me more and more. So I actually would like to have two of them today, so I'm going to keep both of these. This one here I will use to practice on, and then the first artboard I'm going to use for my assignment to put all of the final shapes on it. So let's actually keep both of these artboards for now. So first thing we're going to do is just a little refresher. And so last lesson we learned that you can draw anchor points or corner points using the pen tool. So what we said is you just click and then you're going to get corner points, and then you press Command key or or Control, and then you click away, and then it'll deselect that line and it'll allow you to finish that line so that you can start a new one. So again, you press Command or Control and then you click away, and then that makes it stop. So we're going to use pen tool as well to create curves. So first you're going to again pre-select no fill and black stroke, then you're going to click on the pen tool, and then instead of clicking, this time we're going to click and drag. So the easiest thing for us to practice this is to draw a wave. So you should practice just by doing the same functions and the same steps as I'm going to show you. So when you click with the pen tool, you're going to hold your mouse pressed down, so that's the left button on your mouse. So you're going to click, keep holding the mouse down, and then you drag. So as you drag down, these directional handles show up. So this indicates that you are drawing a curve. So as soon as you see these handles, you know this is going to be a curved segment. So I keep dragging down, and then I can let go. So I already have my first curved point set. Then I'm going to go 1 inch away, and then I'm going to click and drag going up. As I click and drag going up, my curve is going to start bulging down in the opposite direction. So I keep clicking and dragging going up now. And you see the more you drag and the longer the directional handles become, the more steep or the more bulging your curve is going to be. So let's say I'm going to let go now. So once you let go, the curve will be finalized, and then your curved segment is done. So my next curved point will be 1 inch away, and then I will again click and drag going down, and I'm keeping my handles pretty vertical to get a nice curve. Once it's bulging enough, then I can let go. So then you go 1 inch away, and then you click and drag going up, and then again the curve's gonna be bulging down in the opposite direction. And I can let go once the preview looks good. So you should just keep your eye on the preview so that once it looks good, you can let go. So for example, if I drag too much, the curve is bulging too much, and that's not what I want. So this preview allows me to see when I should let go. The other thing too is if you angle the directional handles in a different way or in a different position, different angle, then that's going to affect the shape of the curved segment. So if you want the wave to be even, then you have to keep your directional handles pretty much straight, vertical, and then let go once you're happy with the preview. So my general tip would be don't let go until you are happy with the shape in the preview. If you're happy with the shape, then you let go. If you're going to click and drag the same amount, then all of your curved segments are going to be even, and they're going to look pretty much uniform. Okay, they're going to look the same. So then you keep going. So to make it stop, it's the same as with the corner points. You just have to click on the command or the control key and then click away, and then that's going to stop your curve. So if your curve didn't turn out that great, you can actually still change it using the white arrow. So you're going to click on the white arrow, click anywhere along the curve so you can see where those points are, and then you can actually click on the point and drag it up or down or anywhere using the white arrow. So after you're done drawing your curve, you can actually grab those points with the white arrow and then you can move them around. You can also grab the handles on each side, which in turn will also change the shape of your curve. So this is great because you don't actually have to redraw anything. Instead, you can use the white arrow to move the points into a new position. And you can also use the white arrow to grab those handles, re-angle them, lengthen them, and do whatever you need in order to get the shape of the curve segment that you're trying to get. So this will be one curve, one wave. Let's try another one. So this one I'm going to do in a slightly different way. I'm going to follow the grid because it helps me visualize where to put my points. So this time I'm going to make a wave that's going to span across 2 inches in height. So again, first I'm going to choose no fill black stroke 1 point. I'm going to click on the pen tool, and now I'm going to click and drag going down. This will allow me to have the curve which will bulge down. So then I will go 1 inch across, and then I will click and drag going to the right, and then the curve will bulge in the left direction. Then I will go 1 inch up, I will click and drag going up, and therefore the curve will bulge downwards. And again, don't let go if you don't like the preview. So if I like the preview, I can let go. Then I'm going to click and drag going to the right. Curve's going to bulge in the opposite direction. I will click and drag going down 1 inch away, and then the curve will bulge up. So then you can keep going. So just keep it 1 inch apart according to the grid. So now I'm going to click and drag going to the right, and then I let go. And then now I click and drag going up, and then I can let go. Now I'm going to hit spacebar so that I will temporarily see the hand tool. Once I let go of the hand tool, it'll go back to my pen tool. So then I will again click and drag going to the right, and I will drag perfectly straight for about the same amount as I have dragged before. If I drag too much, then the curve is going to bulge a little bit too much, and that's not what I want. To make it stop, I'm going to press Command and click away, and then I'm done. So same thing again, if you can use the white arrow to move those points in case if you put them in the wrong spot. And also you can re-angle the handles, and you can shorten or lengthen the handles so that you can change the shape of the curved segment. Okay, so if it doesn't turn out, that's fine. You can reshape it later using the white arrow and using the directional handles. So that's really good news. Here again, you can use delete anchor point and add anchor point, the same as in the previous lesson. So if I want to delete a point, then it'll get rid of it. Okay, so you can just keep deleting these points, and that in turn will change the line. I'm going to now create the same wave, but this time I'm going to press Shift as I click and drag. That is going to allow me to keep my handles perfectly straight. So if I click and drag and I press Shift, then my handles are staying perfectly straight. So I click and drag going down, I let go. Then I click and drag going to the right. See, the handles are wobbly, so to make them stay, I'm going to press Shift, and then I will click and drag going to the right. Then I'm going to click and drag going up. I will press Shift to constrain my handles to stay perfectly straight. Then I will go 1 inch up. I will click and drag going to the right. I will press Shift to constrain my handles. Then 1 inch down. Then I click and drag going down. I will press Shift again to constrain my handles. And so you just keep going and you keep pressing the Shift key. So you click and drag, you press Shift, and that's going to constrain your handles. So I click and drag going up, and the curve will bulge down. I press shift the entire time. I'm still pressing shift. You can actually let go in between, like when you click and drag now, then you press shift and then it's going to constrain the handles. The other trick that you can do is use the use the ruler to measure how long you're dragging. So if you drag for about ½ inch every time, then all of the curved segments are more likely to look the same. So that way you can make sure that the line looks very even going all around. So for your assignment, you actually need to have this curve. It can be even or less even, but this one is going to have yellow fill going across. And then the second curve for my assignment will be this one that I drew using the 2-inch grid, but I'm going to press shift to make it smaller, so then it's going to fit on my first page. I'm going to hit spacebar. I'm going to use the black arrow to move this curve over here. And then I will also move this curve over here. Again, I hit the spacebar in order to see the hand tool so that I can move my artboard around. Next really good practice for drawing curves would be to draw circle. So we're going to be drawing circle next. So first I'm going to draw a circle with no fill. And then I'm going to recolor it later when I'm done. So to draw that circle, I'm going to use the pen tool. And I will draw it inside of a 4-inch grid. So step 1, you should zoom into a 4-inch grid. And picture sort of like a cross X and Y axis in the middle of it. So this is the cross in the middle of the circle. And so I will be putting my points 1 inch apart. So the first point I'm going to do on the top of the circle. So I'm going to click and drag for about ½ inch, and I'm going to press shift in order to constrain my handles. So that would be here, ½ inch. Then my next point will go along the X axis, and I'm going to click and drag going down. And again, I will press shift and I will drag for about ½ inch, then I will let go. Next point will be 1 inch up away, and then I will click and drag going to the left. The curve is bulging towards right, and then I will press shift and drag for about ½ inch again to make sure that all of the segments are the same. Then I'm going to put my next point, click and drag with the shift for about ½ inch, then I will not let go, and then I'm going to close this shape. You can see a little circle shows up indicating that you're closing the shape, and then you can click and drag here for about ½ inch, and then you can let go. And there is my circle. It looks a little bit flat, so what I could do is just pull out these handles a little bit more, and you can click on the point with the white arrow, and then you will see the handle, and then just drag the handle out a little bit more. So I'm actually going to click on the point with the white arrow and then drag my directional handle 1/8 more on each side. So I think that's going to make my circle a little bit less flat looking. And then this is a great example to be aware that you can actually click on the point, the directional handle will show up, and then you're going to use the white arrow and shift in order to drag your handle a little bit more out. So now my circle is a little bit more sort of circular and less flat. So now I'm going to fill it with yellow, and then I'm going to use red stroke, and I'm going to increase the thickness of the stroke, and there's my circle. I'm going to just reduce the size of the circle a little bit, so I'll press shift and then I'll use the bounding box and drag it, click and drag in order to reduce the size of my circle, and then I can just put it over here. Now we're also going to practice drawing sort of like a swirl. So to draw the swirl, I'm going to use the 4-inch grid again. So I'm just going to zoom into a 4-inch grid, and then I will select no fill and black stroke so you can see what I'm drawing easier. And so this is a good exercise for when you're starting out to draw with a pen tool, when you're practicing curves. And again, I'm going to use the 4-inch square, and I will put my 4 points opposite across from each other on an X and Y axis. So I'm going to start clockwise, the same way I did the circle. So I will click and drag going to the right. You can press Shift to make it easier, and you can drag 1/2 inch or 5/8. And then I will click and drag going down, and again I'm going to drag 1/2 inch or 5/8 to make it kind of consistent. Then I go 1 inch down, and then I click and drag going to the left. Again, I'm going clockwise this entire time when I drag. I press Shift, and then I drag for about 5/8. Then I'm going to click and drag going up. I will press Shift to constrain my directional handles. And now I'm going to, instead of connecting here, I'm now going to move it over about 1/4 so they don't connect. So I will click and drag a little bit less, press Shift at the same time and let go. Then here I'm going to go about 1/4 inch in, and then click and drag until the segment looks good. When the segment looks good in the preview, I'm going to let go. Now again, I'm going to go 1/4 inch in, but I'm still following the X and Y axis. I'm going to press Shift, click and drag, and once the segment looks good, I will let go. Again, I keep going 1/4 inch. I click and drag going up, and then I let go. And then I click and drag. Once it looks good, I let go. Click and drag going down. I press Shift. Once the shape looks good in the preview, I let go. And then again, I'm following the X and Y axis, so then I can know where I'm putting the points. So then I click and drag, and I let go. So you got the points. So I'm going to stop now. So I'm going to press Command, deselect, and then that's my swirl. I could keep going in, but I want to show you now that I have points all lining up on my X and my Y axis. So it's sort of like a cross in the middle, and all of the points line up. So if you line up your points this way, it's going to be a lot easier for you to draw a spiral. You can again use the white arrow to move the points in and out if that's what you need to make it look better. Here I think I need to bulge out my curve a little bit more, so I can press Shift, and I can use Shift and drag the directional handle over a little bit, and then it'll look a little bit better. So here too, I think I need to press Shift and drag the handle out to get a smoother curve. So if you wanted to go in a little bit more, you can go a little bit more. If you wanted to have 3/8 in between instead of 1/4 inch in between, you could do that too. You'll get a slightly different shape. So this is another really good exercise for you to try. So your spiral for your assignment is going to look like this. You can reduce the size a little bit. And then this is a few exercises that you can do to practice the pen tool. The practice with pen tool is really never ending. You kind of keep learning and you keep getting better, but these are really good to do. Next, we're going to create a heart and a lip shape, but we're going to create them using the Convert Anchor Point tool, which we haven't looked at before. So the Convert Anchor Point tool allows you to turn a corner point into a smooth point and vice versa. So the best way for me to show you that is to basically create a zigzag using corner points. So now I can actually use the convert tool, which is this guy here. I can use it to turn all of my corner points into curved points. So all you have to do is select the convert tool, then click and drag on top of your corner point, and that's going to turn it into a smooth point. So I click and drag going to the right, turns it into a smooth point. I click and drag going to the right, it turns my corner point into smooth point. So I keep going, dragging to the right. See, if you drag to the left, then you've created a knot. So clearly, obviously, you can see from the preview that this is not the correct direction to drag. So I'm going to just make sure that I drag towards right. So I'm dragging in the right direction, and I'm turning all of my smooth points into corner points. And that's it. That's a fairly easy thing to use. Then I will click away with a white arrow to deselect my line. The same thing applies. You can use the convert anchor point tool to turn smooth points into corners. So for example, if I drew a circle, I can then convert all 4 of the smooth points into corner points. So watch this. First, I'm going to click with the white arrow on top of my stroke of my circle. Then I will click on the anchor point tool, and then I click in the middle of my curve point, and then it's going to turn into a corner point. So there, I have turned all 4 smooth points into corner points using the convert anchor point tool. So that's very easy tool to use. Okay, so practice this many times. So just one more time. For example, I can take the anchor point tool, I can click and drag and turn a corner point into a smooth point. Okay, so keep practicing this over and over again. It's a really great tool to be able to use for technical drawings. And that's it. So now there's 2 more things that I want to show you in this demo. And one is how to create a lips shape and how to create a heart shape. So in order to create the shapes, I'm going to use the ellipse tool, both times. So click and drag to create this shape, and then click and drag to create this shape, and then deselect with clicking away with the black arrow. So I'm going to turn this shape into a heart, and I'm going to turn this shape into lips, but I'm going to use convert anchor point tool in order to do that. So first I'm going to select the white arrow, then I'm going to click on the path, then I can see where my curved points are. Next, you're going to click on the convert tool, and then you're going to turn the right and the left point into a corner. So you simply just click, that's going to turn it into a corner point, and then you click on this one, and then that's going to turn it into a corner point. So now you have sort of like an eye shape. Then I'm going to just click on the black arrow and deselect everything. My next step will be to turn this point here, which is a curved point on top, into a combination point. So this is a little bit weird, so I'm just going to zoom out a bit. So first I'm going to click on the white arrow, then I will click on the line so I can see where the point is. And then if you click on the actual point with the white arrow, then you're going to see handles on both sides. So then I'm going to click on the anchor point tool, then I will click with the anchor point tool on top of the directional handle, and I'm going to drag it up. So now I've got like a corner combination point there. Then I will use the white arrow. I will click on top of the point. The other handle will show up. then I will click on the anchor point tool, and then I will click and drag the handle going up in order to create that corner spot there. So now I have a combination point and I have the ellipse shape. So now I can drag with the white arrow these directional handles a little bit more, and then I can also sort of bulge out the lips by dragging out the handles in the left and the right direction, and then these are my lips. So all I have to do now is just select them with the black arrow and use red fill, or you can just leave it white, doesn't matter. And then those are our lips. So our last shape is going to be the heart. So when you draw the heart, it's going to be very similar to the lips. So I'm going to click on the white arrow. I'm going to use the white arrow to click on the shape so I can see where my points are. They're all 4 smooth points at the moment. So then I will click on the convert. I will click at the very bottom point to make my heart pointy. And then all I have to do now is the same thing as before. I just have to grab both of the handles and then drag them up using the convert tool. So first I will use the white arrow. I will click on the point. Then I will see both of the handles. Then I will use the anchor point tool, click and drag the directional handle up, then go back to the white arrow. You can either just click on this side of the line, or you can click with the white arrow on the actual point. Either way, it's going to display the directional handle on the right side. You're going to grab the anchor point tool, and then you're going to click and drag going up to create that heart shape. Next, I'm going to use the white arrow and drag this bit up and this bit up to make it look more like a heart. And then I'm going to drag the handles up a little bit more so that it becomes more like a heart shape. I can also re-angle the handles on each side so that the curve improves even more, and then the top part of the heart becomes a bit more full. And so the point is you can keep playing with these handles and rotating them and dragging them out until you're happy with your shape. So now we know how to make a combination point and how we can add points, delete points, convert points into smooth points and corner points, and vice versa. And so far, that's all we need for the assignment number 1. So finally, I'm going to just reduce the size of my heart. I will press Shift, drag the bounding box so that it becomes smaller, and then I can drag it over to my artboard. So now I'll just double check to make sure I have all of the shapes I need for my simple shapes assignment, and I'm done. So I'm going to actually delete the second artboard. I don't really need it anymore. So what I'll do is I'll just hit the garbage key. I will press on the garbage icon, and that's going to delete my second artboard. And so now I'm left with just one original artboard. I will hit Command 0, and I will hit Control or Command S in order to save my file. So Control S saves my file, and now I'm done with this assignment. So you are going to have these shapes done using the pen tool and using the smooth points and the convert anchor point tools. So at this point, I'm just going to save it, Control S, and that's it for the simple shapes assignment.